Today, we're talking about how you get from you to everyone, whether it's in Singapore or the world, right? And today, we represent Singapore is represented here, and the world is also represented. Thank you, Brandon. And how do you get your music from you to everyone? Is a big, big question. And what we call the music business is actually the thing which helps you get your music to everyone, whether it's in Singapore or in the world, and to then somehow get something out of it. So you may not realize that you're already making use of the music business. You may think that you're doing things free, but that's also part of the music business because somebody is paying for it somewhere. So first of all, we start off with how do you establish that you got something? First, you have a song. So you've got a song, you've got melody, you've got lyrics. People in Zoom, if this is too small, let me know. Okay, then your melody plus your lyrics will go through into a recording. Here is where copyright kicks in. You've got copyright here in the melody, you've got copyright in the lyrics, and you've got copyright in the recording. When I say recording, I mean your wave, your MP3, whatever file it is. And these are different kinds of copyright. This is called your publishing, and this is called your master. If anybody wants to do a cover of your song, which means they want to take the melody and do something with it, that's under publishing. They have to pay, get your permission under publishing, and they might pay you. If somebody wants to use the wave file that you created, that's under the master. Now, there was a time when you needed money to get from the melody and lyrics to the recording. And when you have that, in the old days, you would need a recording deal. Somebody would need to pay for the recording unless you were independently wealthy. So the recording company would pay for the recording and they would own your master rights. So you heard from Taylor Swift how she started out as a young singer-songwriter. And of course, she didn't have money to go into a recording studio. So the labels paid for it. And so the labels own the master rights. I'm oversimplifying her entire career, but that's basically that. And this has happened for decades. Artists sign a recording deal with a record label. The label owns the rights to the master because they paid for the recording. And this would be tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars. But that's why a lot of people like to sign recording deals in the past. Because if you don't sign a recording deal, how will you ever afford to go into a studio? You still retain your disc rights, which is your publishing rights. This one is still yours. That's why Taylor Swift can still do the Taylor versions of her songs. Because she has the right to sing her song. She doesn't own the wave file, but she owns the actual lyric. She can go around singing, you are Romeo, I'm Juliet, whatever. I will put in a blank space and write your name, whatever. It's the most awful rendition of Taylor Swift lyrics ever, right? So she wants that she can sing it any way she likes. And now, in the year 2021, 2022, because she can now pay for her own recording, she will own the publishing and the master. And she's hoping that everybody will start using her masters instead of the label's masters. This is, actually, she still gets paid when the label master gets paid. But she just, I think the keyword is yen. Cannot take it, just cannot take it. Fed up. So, what does that have to do with you? If you sign a deal with a record label, of which there are few and far between nowadays, and they pay for your recording, they will own your master. And that means that whatever wonderful final product you created, right, which sounds really, really fantastic, right, they own it. They decide whether it even gets released at all. And that's scary because if they decide to do what, it doesn't fit our marketing strategy, then that thing which you wrote and recorded never gets released. And depending on what deal you sign, if you sign away your publishing rights as well because you were young and naive and you didn't get a lawyer to help you, then they also control whether you can even sing a cover version of your own song. Then you are sunk. So if you do this all yourself, if you happen to, for example, join a club at university, right, where they taught you how to make your own recordings of music and arrange music and how to take your song and your lyrics and turn them into a finished song, maybe during the month of February. I don't know whether there's such a club exists, right? Has anybody here such a thing? Then you could own your own publishing and your own master recording because nobody else owns it. Just to let you know also, don't worry, NUS does not make a claim on any of your music, okay? NUS does say that if you are in NUS, they reserve the right to what is called license your music. So if you wrote something with EML, they would like to have the permission for them to replay your song for free for years to come, to show that, hey, look, our students are so great. Yeah, but that's okay, right? You don't begrudge anywhere, right? Okay lah, you know, all the scarring experiences you might have here, at least let them play your song for free. They will have an audience. So this is NUS will have the license to play a song. But NUS does not own your publishing or master. You still own your publishing or master. Now that you have this right, that's where you can start to think, how can I get my music over to everyone, right? Because now you got a recording, a wave for MP3. Any question at this point? Yes.
Possible that you pay a record studio to record, and you buy the right rather than the studio owner.
Very good question. Can you pay a recording studio and you own the rights? Exactly. That is how I recorded our first album. We paid a recording studio. Of course, I can tell you it is not cheap. I also happened to practice as a lawyer, so I had made money. So I was able to have money to spend on a recording studio. And which was okay. And I was able to do a lot of the work at home. So when I went into the studio, I didn't have to do that much in the studio. Otherwise, it would have cost me probably 4 or 5 times as much. We're talking about a large sum of money. Okay? Yeah. So it does cost money. But yes, there are studios for hire that can record for you.
Okay. Then, so
right now is who pays for it. Who pays for it owns it. Yeah. If you pay for it, you own it.
It doesn't necessarily
You won't go. Actually, nowadays the studios don't own their own studios. Nowadays, record labels don't own their own studios. They will go to people in various locations in Singapore. You could go to Leonard Sugar's Snake Meat Studio. You could go to Jeffrey Lowe's what's the name of the studio? The one that I did myself. I can't remember. Yeah, or you can go to Bertha Collective and do it. So there are all these studios available. So long as you pay, you own it. The problem has been that do you have the money to lay out maybe about 10K, 20K, 30K, 50K to record an album? That's when people sign with record labels who will pay their money for them. But of course, nothing in the world is free. When they pay for it, they own it. If you pay for it, you own it. Yeah. So it is, but it's a very good question because you want to make sure that you, whatever it is, you pay for it, you own it. Good question. Any other question? LBC also, if anybody puts anything in the chat. But I'm not seeing the chat, so yeah. Thanks. Okay. Now that you've got your recording, right? You want to get it put onto platforms because you want to get it into places like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, QQ, right? Yeah, iTunes is Apple. Or you could go to SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Audius, and even YouTube. MySpace, right? Yeah. The difference between these two is that these guys, you need a distributor. These guys, you do yourself. Now, Spotify at some point said you can do it yourself, but it's not worth it to do it yourself because it's very bare bones. I'll explain why in a little minute. The distributors are people like DistroKid, CD Baby, TuneCore, Orchard, Believe. So these are, and several others. What these companies will do is, you send them your WAV file and all your personal information, and they will get it onto these platforms. And then some other value add. These guys will then take charge of collecting the money from these platforms and bring it to you. And these guys, if you have particular arrangements, see, publishing has other wonderful things. Because publishing, you can do to cover versions, radio play, club DJ play, sync to movie or TV. Some of these distributors are also publishers, so they can also help you collect this money. Because the fact is that you don't have the time or the resources to go and manually chase each of these people or any of these people for your money, which won't be a huge amount per piece, but will add up. So the distributor, who are many of them are also publishers, will take care of collecting money from this and this. Of course, they take a cut, but at least you have the money collected, others you don't. Yes, go on. Very good question. Calling me trying to set up a Zoom call. Okay, so you got other musicians. When you are in the studio, we meet them. You need to establish that this is mine or yours or whatever. If you had already told them exactly what to play and they are just executing your instructions, that's quite straightforward because they are basically mechanically doing what you said. But if you went into the studio and you said, I have this idea for a song, then you start playing, you jam a bit, then they jam some more. Then you have if you watch the Beatles Get Back documentary, it kind of spontaneous playing along, right? Then you have a question mark. Because yes, Freeman's question is correct. Do they own a piece of this? Question mark. The best thing is that you engage them as session musicians. As a session musician, all you need to say is, and a simple email will do. I prefer email to WhatsApp because it's easier to print it out if ever there's a disagreement or misunderstanding, or you need to account to compass. In your email, you say, hey, I'm going to give you maybe a token sum. I'm going to give you $20, $50, $100, $300. Actually, $300 is the market rate. But because we are students, then I'll pay you like maybe $50, $20, cup of coffee. So that you can be a session musician and all the rights in the song are mine. So you just put it out there. If they so then they accept your money, that's it, done deal. They don't even need to sign. Right? Once they accept your money, it's a done deal. It's basically click accept. Would you want this money? Accept or cancel, right? Once they accept, they've agreed to you owning the rights. If you don't clarify that, it can be problematic further down the road if your song becomes successful. Everyone, is it okay? Everyone okay? Okay. Other question? Okay, good. Good question. Now, you've got this, right? You're publishing. This you take care of yourself and then you collect money yourself. SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Audio Review. Now, what happens is that any of you who have uploaded songs or put them on Spotify, Amazon, you will realize that there are tens of thousands of songs appearing every day. How do people even know you? Unless you go and tell all your friends, please listen to my song, share it with your friends, which is at the beginning how you will have to do it. Because we now hit that other issue, which is promotion. Promotion is getting your song out to people so that they can actually hear it. Because sitting on Spotify or sitting on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, nobody's finding you. Somehow you need to get it in front of them. And there are several ways. The big ones, blog, podcast, radio, then there's also social ads, Facebook, IG. Then there's also social groups, whether it's Facebook, Discord, whatever groups that you have. You can also try organic, so you can try TikTok, you can try YouTube Short, you can try IG Reels. These are more touch and go because you need a gimmick, which is a fair amount of work. Because remember, you already wrote your song and you made your music, it's already tough enough. Now to come up with a dance, right? That people actually are going to care about. I mean, if you are somebody like that, then by all means go for this. But otherwise, don't. You put it there, so that people can find you, but don't rely on it. Yeah. Or you happen to look good in a bikini, but you don't ever try. Yeah. Or clean. Yeah. So this is the big question mark is how do you get onto this? This one, you need money. Okay? This one, you need time. Getting onto the right Discords, right groups, and then sharing. This one, you need a bikini. This one, you need help. You need contacts. If you don't have the contacts now, then you need your distributor to get them in. Now, not many distributors do this. And it's usually additional cost. I have a record deal with a Belgian label, Alpha Matrix. My record deal, they do not pay for my masters. They do not pay for my recording. I pay for my own recording. So I own this and I own this. That's the good news. And what they do is they pay for the distribution, because I remember you need to pay the distributors, right? And they pay for the promotion because they know all the bloggers and all the podcasts in their particular genre, which is Gothic electronic music. So they will promote my music to the bloggers they know, the podcasters they know, and we get featured. So we get featured in Swedish blogs, German blogs, French blogs, and I will go to Google Translate and check, is this a good review or a bad review before I share it? So they collect the money from here and they split with us. How much money they're collecting from all the sales of this, which is, to me, is a good deal, because without them doing this, I'm not going to get any money anyway, because they can't reach people. So what if you don't have a distribution deal? Let's call it a distribution deal, a distribution and promotion deal. If you don't have a distribution and promotion deal, then you have to start making your own contacts. Start getting to know people. Start getting to know people in a polite and helpful, friendly way. Not in an obnoxious, hey bro, listen my song, check me out. My song is fire, you know. Like say I roll. Yeah, super eye roll, right? So people who are running blogs, podcast, radio are human like you and I. Imagine how you feel if you receive one of this, right? Yeah. When you slide into their DMs and says, hey, check me out, like, yeah, our EML Instagram also gets a lot of, hey, check out my song, help share my music. EML SoundCloud also, is it? In the comments, right? Oh yeah, you go into other people's comments and then you go and post this kind of thing. It's kind of really annoying. Yeah. So there's all that. Don't get scammed by people who offer you, hey, I will get you 1 million Spotify plays, you know. Then they have this whole bunch of automated accounts that automatically pay to Spotify. If Spotify catches you, your account gets cancelled. Then you go and change artist name and launch again, which is like, wow, right? And someone you wasted your money to a scammer. If Spotify doesn't catch you, it's also bad. Because when you have 1 million plays and they randomly send you to some different genre that's not your genre, then what will happen after that 1 million plays is that other people in the wrong genre are going to hear your song and they're going to skip it. So right now you wrote an electronic R&B, lo-fi, chill hop, chill wave, hybrid trap song, right? If a scammer puts it 1 million plays and it turns up in a country playlist, people on the country playlist are going to hear the first 5 seconds of you and skip. If it turns up in a classical playlist, people on the classical playlist will hear 5 seconds and skip. Spotify will recognize that, wow, this song lousy, right? Everybody hear it 5 seconds, skip. I will stop. I will just basically downgrade the exposure of your song. So same thing with YouTube views. Don't get fake YouTube views, because after you run the initial lot, right? If it goes to the wrong audience, then they will skip, and every skip you get destroys your credibility in the system. So do it the right way, organically. Blogs, podcasts, go reach out to people. Social ads. I do recommend you do social ads. Work with people who have done social ads before, so that they can advise you what category to go for. And also when you do social ads, speak to somebody who at least studies advertising, right? So that you know what, in the first 5 seconds, the viewer will catch their attention and will want to click. Because Honestly speaking, if you just tell them, here I am, listen to my song, you've seen those ads. Does it inspire you to click? No, not really. There's got to be something which inspires you to click. So this is not a session on how to market your song, but I just tell you that these things are there. Get people, you are in the best thing, you're in a university, you can find people who are studying these kind of things. Anybody studying this? Huh? Ta-da! There. Finish. Okay. Spotlight yourself. Yeah. Any questions at this point?
That one of those prompts, like, you know, that I think past couple of years, don't necessarily type them, but something upload it.
Very good. Now, there are promo YouTube channels. And also promo Spotify playlists. People will invite you to send in stuff. And usually they don't ask for money. If they don't ask for money, it's usually more legit. You can check out their playlist. If their playlist is in tune with what you're doing, like New Retro Wave is definitely, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt is in tune with what Jirong is doing. Yes, so he sends to them and they will put it on and it will reach the right audience. So if you can find these playlists which are inviting people, you can actually Google and find those which are inviting people in your particular style. Then you can send to them. You can also find bloggers who are asking for submissions because some bloggers ask for submissions. There are even services where you can pay a fee to send to bloggers who are asking for submissions. Those are that one is legit because that one will get you in front of people who are actually looking for submissions, not just random spam. And to make it more legit, they'll even give you feedback, which is very, very, very useful. So those are legit places where you will get in front of the right people who are going to be interested in your song. Then you can reach this. The other way to reach the SG crowd, of course, is to do gigs. Now, because of the situation of the pandemic right now, this has really gone down to NUS, Astronaut, and demos. When I say demos, the friendliest one is City Music. Right? These are the surviving places that we can actually perform your music. So NUS, yeah, here we are. And you actually have a very good opportunity because there are actually opportunities to play in NUS. And you are in the Center for the Arts, the organization that is asked to provide performances. So this is the best opportunity. You've got Omnibus, you've got Student Life, you've got other things like Here Arts Festival, everything. So you can play in those. Then you can also get invited to do Astronaut from time to time. It has been less with the pandemic because there are just less shows at Astronaut. But when things pick up again, they'll call us again. Whether it's Concourse or Waterfront, it's amazing to play. And then also demo shows. If City Music has an event up, they are open to us doing a performance there. Of course, preferably with gear that they sell. But we use so much core gear anyway, it's very compatible. So this is how we get to the everyone. And of course, streams is how we get to the rest of the world. So streams I'm going to talk about after I clean this board. Any question on this? You mean just say yes? There's a question. So, what the question? Do they allow busking in Singapore? Yes, they do allow busking in Singapore. And you need a license, you can busk. One of my friends spent a lot of time busking. That's Eileen Chai, the violinist. You must have the personality that you know would be interesting for people to go and busk. And also you must have that visual. She's a violinist and she's very, very energetic. So it's interesting. If you sit right down there with your laptop and busk, you might not, now to be very frank, you might not get much attention because you look like you're checking your emails, right? Or you're checking your Discord or something like that. Yeah. But yes, busking is licensed and allowed. Yeah. Yes. Why Tiny Desk concert? Yeah. Is Tiny Desk concert usually done by famous artists? If we watch on YouTube, Tiny Desk concert is, if you know who they are, that means they're famous. If you don't know who they are, that means they're not famous. Tiny Desk is a phrase which I do not know whether they have trademarked. I wouldn't use the word Tiny Desk because it's one particular radio station Saturday, and they use it a lot. And I don't want to go up and say, hey, this is our NUS Tiny Desk. And after that, they say, please do not use the word Tiny Desk because we have trademarked it. But you're going to do that format works also. You can do a show like that. Omnibus last year was a Tiny Desk show. This year is also a Tiny Desk show, although your desk was in your desk was in a bigger room, right? There's a cloth over the desk. Yeah. So so Tiny Desk shows work out. I mean, you can call them Tiny Desk, small t, small d lah. You know. Yes. Yeah. Small table shows, GS table shows. You know, foldable table shows, mahjong table shows. Mahjong table show. Right. Do the Singapore thing. Okay. Don't underestimate the Singapore thing. Okay. The fact that we are here and we have, it's something unusual, right? That is going to be of interest to people outside, provided, of course, you have some element which is distinctive, a bit more Singaporean. Yeah. Now, being Singapore, having a Singapore flavor is only interesting outside of Singapore. Singaporeans don't give a about you being Singaporean. Because to them, it's like, I also want. What's the big deal? How's Singapore? It's local artists. Very good. You big deal. Right? That's the. So the Singapore aspect is actually more valued outside. But the good news is there are more people outside Singapore than inside Singapore. By a ratio of about 1,000 to 1. Right? By world population. Singapore's population is 0.1%. 0.1%. So you can reach out to the rest of the world. Of course, don't ignore us in Singapore lah, because then we'll think that you have become too atas and then you have forgotten your roots, then we'll blame you on social media. Yeah? Any other questions? Good questions. Did Jermaine ask something which I missed? Perfect question for my next part. Where does the money come from? Okay, so I'm going to clean this board. You clean it, okay. Do you get the point? The light, reflection of the light. No, but the right reflection you can still see. Okay. So actually, yeah, I can actually okay. So here, Bandcamp, whatever, I'm going to put under the category of where does the money come from? downloads, which is Bandcamp. Okay. I'm going to use the food vendor way of showing how much money you get by number of dollar signs. You can also get streams. Again, little bit of money. Because your song sells for about 99 cents, your stream is fractions of a cent. I'm talking about for an independent musician around our level. Yeah. If your first name is Taylor and your second name and your surname is Swift, then your economics are different. Also, if your first name is Ed and your surname is Sheeran, your economics is different. Yeah. But when we talk about if your name happens to be Ed and your surname is Sheeran, you have another thing here called the publishing. Because the man writes songs for other people. And when you write songs for other people, then you get performance royalties. Performance royalties is collected by Compass, COMPASS. If you join Compass and you register your song, and then you let them know that your song has been played in such and such a place, maybe on radio, or by a club DJ, you start to get a little bit of money. Actually, one of the very useful ways to trigger this off is to do your own show and inform Compass that all these songs are being played in the show by yourself, but still legit, right? So what happens is that if you are playing at Esplanade will be paying Compass anyway. But you inform Compass, hey, I played at Esplanade and these songs were played. So Esplanade will say, hey, no, so Compass will say, hey, Esplanade, you pay us every year, right? So out of that thousands of dollars that Esplanade pays, they say, how do we distribute this? We distribute this to all the people whose songs were played at Esplanade. Oh, look, After Signs. And After Signs song was played. Oh, a Falling Island song was played. Oh, a Bouquet Fields song was played. Okay, we will pay to After Signs, we'll pay to Bouquet Fields, we'll pay to Falling Islands. If you don't tell Compass, Compass may not know. Because Esplanade may or may not have given them the info. So that's money. Then the interesting thing is, from then on, every year, they will pay you money. Because you will be on their radar, they'll figure that, oh, this one, if they were played last year, chances are they'll play this year also. So they'll pay you money because there is actually a spare fund. So hey, it's not a huge amount of money, but it's definitely more than chicken rice. It's much more than chicken rice. It's a Din Tai Fung. It could be, yes. Or a Puchian. One of those, you could have a very nice meal. Yeah. So that's how you can get your performance royalties. You also get, let me take this away because these are all spending money. You're not spending money. Spending money. Okay, streams, performance royalties, then because of who you are, you can also get sponsorships. So sponsorship, they can sponsor your keyboard. So I got a call. They can sponsor your laptop. So I got a Lenovo laptop. Different things. Sample, new sounds and samples. Ableton sponsors me from time to time. Okay? So you can get sponsorship, you can get free gear. If you are really doing well, then they might even pay you to sponsor, to endorse a non-music thing. Let's say, you happen to look good as well as sound good, then they might sponsor your clothes. Somebody might sponsor your clothes. You can also get commissions. Commissions are when people ask you to do stuff, whether it's to perform or whether it's to do a recording, because they need it for their projects. And if you get things like corporate deals, right? Corporate events are really nice because they have money, they will pay. So I'm doing a corporate event in February, which is a product launch for a luxury brand. So that's not bad. That's save for money. At EML, before Mary joined EML, she was at Arts House, and they had this very interesting idea. They introduced us to a vacuum cleaner company, the Miele, M-I-E-L-E company, and we did the product launch of the vacuum cleaner. Basically, we wrote a 3-part piece of music with the vacuum cleaner, sampling the vacuum cleaner, dismantling the vacuum cleaner, and playing the sound through effects. And then one where I actually opened up the vacuum cleaner and played with the sound using my hands. So that they paid EML for it, and not only that, they paid for me and an EML member to go to Hong Kong to perform it. And they gave us pocket money for 4 days in Hong Kong. So we did 4 nights at the Hong Kong festival. So that's stuff you can do. You just need to say, I'm here, I'm ready. Whenever this stuff goes out in Telegram, hey, anybody interested in doing this project, just say, me, yeah, it's okay. So I don't have a project yet. Don't worry, I will call you. Yeah. So be ready. There's stuff like this available. Commissions. This one can be very nice. Besides commission, there's also sessions. You have been asked to play instruments for somebody if you're good enough. Or in our case, you might be asked to help produce a piece of music. If you become like, oh, somebody who could, you know that this person can do this particular style, right? And now a songwriter has written a song and says, I wrote this song. Can I change it into, recently I got this question. I wrote this song, right? It's me and piano. But I want to do it like weekend style. Can you help me? Why not? Or somebody comes to you and say your favorite, hey, after science, I wrote this song. Can you help me turn it into dubstep? Straight away said, sure. I'm assuming you want to make money. Okay, if you're already sufficiently wealthy, you don't need to worry about any of this. And corporate events, production, yeah, sessions, and also remixes. Because people can ask you to do remixes. A lot of times they're doing remix for free, but sometimes you really get known for it, then you can get paid for remixes also. Now, the big money stuff comes to you when you have already established yourself. The other one is sync. Put sync here, right? Okay. This one, if you can get it, think that means your song is used in a TV show or a video or a movie, is good money. So they will pay you good money to get it in. Again, you must be in the right place at the right time. Your music must be the kind that is going to be suitable for a show. For that show also. There is another form which is beats. Selling beats, you can actually go to beats selling websites and upload your beats. Now, for those of you who are still thinking that beats means just the boom chak, when we sell beats like this, it actually means entire backing tracks. Because rappers need backing tracks, singers need backing tracks, people want music as a little chunk that they can use for an advertisement. This one, you can sell it for cheap, and you can also sell it for expensive. How many people know Old Town Road? Right? You take me down to Old Town Road, right till I can no more. Yeah. The backing track was made by a 19-year-old guy in Norway, Sweden, somewhere in Europe. He put it onto a beat selling website. Lil Nas X gets it for the cheap version because Lil Nas X doesn't know whether it's going to be successful or not. He raps on top of it, it becomes big. It starts to get bigger and bigger. The beats contract is, the sale contract is very interesting. If your song doesn't get successful, you only pay the small amount. But once the song starts getting big, you have to renegotiate with the beat maker and pay them a royalty. Otherwise, they can sue you. Why can they sue you? Because of this wonderful thing here. The beat maker has the publishing and the master rights. So once the Lil Nas X song became big, the original beat maker found out, got notified. They said, hey, guys, your song now has, a lot of plays. The contract says you're supposed to now start paying me royalties. So, so it became huge. So the potential is huge for beats. Then, what else is there? Streams. Now, this is Brandon's question, right? Finally, Brandon, I got your question. This is also from here to here. I don't think I'm going to get really huge money out of subs. Unfortunately, the subs world is also dominated by bikinis, right? So it's because when you stream, you could be on Twitch, you could be on OnlyFans, right? You could be on Patreon. Facebook is trying to introduce subs. Instagram is also trying to introduce subs. All of this works if people want to give you money for what you're producing. And usually, bikini aside, they will give you money if you are regularly doing this. If you are always doing this, every week they know they come in at this time, they'll see you. Or maybe even a few times a week, they'll see you. It's a job. It's a job. So money don't come for free. Right? You got to work to get to the bigger money. Right? So please do not do anything also that will get you arrested. Huh? If you've seen in the papers or a Singaporean was arrested for doing certain things on OnlyFans which are non-musical. Yeah. So you didn't. So please do not do anything illegal on any of these streams. But yes, this is possible. Now, actually, Brandon's question was, where do you make the most money? Actually depends on what your music is like, what you are like, and how you happen to reach out, how you happen to kind of fit into the culture of listeners. It's very hard to tell. How would you imagine that a guy can take a beat from a 19-year-old Norwegian beat maker and then add on his rap, right? And then start wearing cowboy boots and then singing about being a cowboy. And then it becomes like #1 in the US for 60 weeks. If 5 years ago you told me this, I tell you crazy. Yeah. Or better still, that it got popular because he was doing a TikTok dance and that's how it became popular. People will say you're crazy, right? But these things happen. Now, I would say I wouldn't gamble on the going viral and making money. But going viral is not the strategy unless you're a virus. Okay? Huh? Yeah, it's timing and luck, right? If you want timing and luck, there's another thing you can do actually, which is my last thing. But wait. For streams, is you're more likely to be at the lower end than on the upper end unless you really turn into a full-time job. Talk about jobs. There's also teaching. Teaching is really how much hours will you spend teaching? Yeah, it's not a whole lot of money, right? I'm glad I don't depend on it for my living, so I can do it for fun, really. But teaching is a regular paycheck, and you can actually, sustain your lifestyle and a family if you want so in the future on teaching. A lot of musicians in Singapore, performing musicians, teach because it's regular. You never know when you're going to get a call to go and play and perform. But you know that there's always going to be people who learn. And if you are good at teaching and sharing what you know and helping other people to get that, teaching is a very good, stable income. Last one. Have I missed out anything? There's actually one last one. The one last one, you want to talk about really the crazy thing. You know what I'm going to write? What's really crazy? Where you want to see the insane? Surely somebody will guess in the chat. No. Right. This is where you can get ridiculous amounts of money or not. Okay. So, other than being an excellent tool for terrorist financing and money laundering, destroying the environment is actually further down the order of destruction because yes, it also destroys the environment because you the electricity to mean things. But although it's getting less, the environmental impact, and if you compare the environmental impact to many other things we're doing, actually we are doing a lot of other things to destroy the environment. But environment aside, if you can mint an NFT, right, whether you pay money to get it minted, pay for the gas fee, or whether the platform will, let you mint it for free and then take a cut, it can also sell for gazillion dollars if you've seen. But the problem with your NFT, again, is it depends on, do you have somebody who wants to buy it? And then now it's not just people who like your music. They must like your music and be a bit crazy also. Yeah. Or you happen to be in the right place at the right time and somebody wants to launder money. Then they see you, okay, fuse. The okay fuse NFT, I am going to buy it for $1 million in Bitcoin, and then someone in Ethereum, and then my friend, who's actually me with a different account, is going to buy it from me at 2 million. What is the point of it? Because then my friend would have given me a profit of 1 million. So now I got $1 million, which I can go to the bank and deposit. The bank asks, where is this money? Is it from illegal sources? And you say, no, I sold an NFT. Okay, so congratulations, you have now helped in terrorist financing or probably drug money laundering. But on the bright side, you made $1 million. Huh? Yeah, so of course, that's an exaggeration. There are a lot of people who are making nice, decent, small money in the NFT market, right? But then again, somebody's got to want to buy an NFT, which means you're scratching your head, creating that NFT that people want. There's another form, actually, besides this, there's another thing which has existed before NFT, which is the physical thing called merch. What's that? Yes. Before NFTs in the physical world, when we still have physical bodies, before we all entered the metaverse and checked into the matrix, there was merchandise. So your t-shirt and your mug actually make you more money than your streams or your downloads. Think about it. Your t-shirt you can sell at $25 online because people who want to buy your t-shirt will pay $25. That's normal. And it costs you maybe 15 or maybe 5 even, right? So that's a profit of somewhere between $10 to $15. You got to sell a lot. You got to stream a lot to get. So, but this requires you to have a nice design and nice idea that people actually want to wear. But if you can sell it, the profit margin is good. Have I missed out anything? Questions? That's it. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Creative Commons. Now, copyright exists whether you claim it or not. Copyright by law exists the moment you have put your piece of music into a tangible form, whether it's on your hard disk or that is noted down. It's no longer an idea in your head, but it's actually on your hard disk. It's a tangible form. Copyright exists. Now you have the option to do what you want. You can take this, right? And you can say, so I'm going to wipe this part. Everybody got this already? You're going to wipe already. Now we're going to talk about copyright, which segues nicely into YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. Okay? Okay. Creative Commons. Creative Commons is the compromise between copyright and public domain. If you say my song is public domain, I give up all my rights to it, everybody can cover it, can sing my lyrics, can sing my melody, that's public domain. I have no control over it anymore. No control, no rewards. Full copyright. I hold on to it. Anybody want to sing my lyrics, sing my tune, play the wave, you must pay me under any of these different permutations I just showed just now. Creative Commons says, I now have a choice. It could be TCBY. You can play it for free, but you must, or you can make copies for free, but you must attribute, must say who it's by. Okay? If you don't say who it's by, then I will bounce back to my copyrights to you. You can also have ECNC, non-commercial. Everyone can use it for free. Everybody, all my NUS friends can use it for free. You can use it in my Discord server also for free if it's non-commercial. But the moment anybody wants to use it for corporate video, advertisement, TV show, selling it, then you better pay me money. Otherwise, I sue you. That's copyright. Yes. Is streaming monetized considered commercial? Good question. Let's go and see. Let's go and read. You go to the Creative Commons website and you go and read whether that's covered. But that brings us to another very good question, which is that now, if you are doing a song by somebody else, so the answer to the question is, okay, that's what. Yeah, so Creative Commons, you're letting everybody use it for free except the ones who don't want to attribute you. This one, you're letting everybody use it for free except the ones who want to use it for commercial purposes. So you're giving it free only to a limited number of people. That's what it's for. CC0 means nothing, right?
Yeah. That means everyone is free for all.
Wait, is it free for all or is it the opposite of free for all?
It's like,
yeah, that's right. That's right. That means, yeah, I give to everybody with no restriction, which is almost the same as how do you mean?
creative software.
Yeah, you can't make money.
Unless you use it as a computer.
If you want it to spread, you can go CCNP. Then people spread it, but the moment it starts making money, you draw back. Now, yes, you're using it as a resource. If you are using, and the question is right, you check. If something is CC BY, please attribute them. Otherwise, you are infringing. If somebody is CCNC, please don't sell the thing. Monetizing on YouTube, I don't know whether it's covered.
But
You know?
I changed for my own life because I realized that the source of the thing, you actually put there more commercial.
Oh, yes. That's a good point. It's not just the music, it's things like album artwork. Yeah.
I didn't know I would, but then
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You go to this side, oh, free pictures, free graphics, things, then CC, whatever, or yeah. Please observe all these things. Otherwise, you get yourself in trouble. So, let's talk about what happens when you are doing a cover and you go on YouTube, Facebook, or IG, Twitch. If you are playing somebody's entire song, of course, you are making use of their copyright in the publishing and the master. If you are playing a cover, you're only using the publishing copyright. You're not using the master because it's your own recording. So possible, right? So let the Taylor Swift can do cover of itself. So you can, if you do a cover, it's only this one. If you play the whole song, you're doing both. If you do a remix, you're also doing both because you're using the recording also, right? So you use their wave file. But if you don't use their wave file, you just use the lyrics and the tune. They're just using their publishing. So here's the thing. All of these guys, the big platforms, have been sued by the labels because there's so much stuff on them that is using other people's copyright. So they put in this thing called content recognition. Content recognition recognizes tune, recognizes audio. It's like facial recognition, but for content. It's like how your Shazam works. You put it up, and then within a few seconds, it says, oh, you're listening to this or that. But each one of them, because they've already been sued or in fear of being sued, they have this content recognition. But what they do with it is different. If you play something from someone else on Facebook IG, you get muted. If the content recognition spots you. If you go on Twitch, you also get muted. If you go on YouTube, it depends. It depends on the company that made the deal with YouTube. Because all the major labels made deals with YouTube. Some say mute or take down, but others will say allow plus monetize. This is very useful because this is actually your permission to do covers, to do remixes, to do DJ mixes, and it goes into YouTube. YouTube recognizes who it belongs to. YouTube tells you when you upload, we have spotted that this is owned by whoever copyright this, owned by whoever copyright this, owned by copyright. Do you agree? Say yes. Okay? Because if you don't say yes, then you enter the dispute system. Why do you dispute? Then you're like, oh man, actually don't have a proper way to dispute it, right? So when you hit the, when you say, I agree, then they will go into the allow and monetize side. That's why you see people's in their description suddenly appears contains the music by so and so, belongs to whatever copyright label is there, and then there are ads now in your video. But your remix, your cover, whatever, is that true by YouTube? Because YouTube is paying the rights holder for it. YouTube recognizes a lot of stuff now. They can recognize, okay, so the algorithm can spot tunes, right? It's really weird because we don't know how the algorithm works. Some, if the tune of the, let's say the melody line, like you said, right, is very distinctive. Even if you're using just the a cappella together with your own music, it could trigger. Yeah, they don't give emotion. So you went through and you go, probably. Yeah, you cannot monetize. Oh, when I say monetize, it means not you monetize. It means the label monetize. Yeah, because you got a lot of the elements, right? They are looking at the I also don't know how the algorithm works. I also don't know how Shazam works, but they can recognize the tune intervals, right? Yeah, inside the thing. So I'm not worried if they recognize or not. To me, if they recognize or not, they just allow them to put as I'm not expecting to monetize the cover version. I'm not expecting to monetize the remix. If I do a cover version or remix, it is to give me exposure to people who like this song and to draw them to my original. Yeah. So it was okay, right? You went through, right? You went through, okay. Of course, the other way, you can spot your cover version or your remix if you put it in the title. Right? Taylor Swift, Romeo or Juliet, after Science dubstep version, right? you know. Yeah. It's an Ed Sheeran perfect bokeh feels ambient mix. Yeah. That one, they already have the crawler, the search engine, they'll go and like, Ed Sheeran, here is the, that'll be quite funny. If it totally sounds unlike the original, but because the title got you, that'll be really funny. I don't know, you want to try? It's an experiment. I've not tried it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Feel free to experiment. We are a lab after all. Yeah. Do they take all the money from your remix? And come, yeah, that's right. They'll take all the money. The ads won't go to you. The ads will go to them. Not even a small fraction. If you have a file arrangement with the artist, then it's your back end. It's not through YouTube. Okay, so YouTube is a machine. Machines are doing this. Okay, machines are doing this. Do not put things in your description. I claim fair use under the whatever, right? For educational purpose. Crap, the machine doesn't care. The machine cares, did it trigger the algorithm or not? So this machine is churning millions of songs every second, right? So, it doesn't actually care about the law. The only thing it cares is who owns the copyright. That's the only part of law it cares about. The rest, is it fair use, Fair use is a wonderful concept. If anybody ever goes to court, then you can say, oh, fair use. I was using it in education context to teach a class. Right? Or I was using it in a blog to comment on the song. Sure. If anybody ever disputed in court, use fair use. But the reality now is that you will not get to court. You will be tried by the judge, jury, and executioner called the YouTube content recognition, or the Facebook content recognition, or the Twitch. And in Facebook and Twitch instance, execution means chop the head off. Well, in theory, it is good practice. Okay, now it's go to law. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure also whether everybody is aware. I speak from experience, not just having my own record deals in the industry, but also as an intellectual property lawyer, because that's actually my original career. Okay, so legally speaking, are you required to receive a cease and desist letter? Actually, not. Right? You can complain that you didn't receive one, but you can still get brought to court. Nowadays, less likely that you'll be brought to court for a small thing because it's expensive to bring you to court. For the suer, because they got to pay their expensive lawyers, right? My fees are not cheap. So they would not sue a small friend unless your song becomes very, very successful. Which is why Lil Nas X would, quickly pay up the Norwegian guy, because when your song is #1 in the US, everybody wants to get a piece of it. It's worth it to sue you. And it's in the contract anyway, yeah.
It wasn't
To send the money.
if it wasn't made up.
No, there's too many question marks, because where else would Lil Nas X have gotten the song from? Yeah. Now, if somebody takes your song off SoundCloud, right, and it wasn't clear on SoundCloud whether you were claiming full copyright or not. Now SoundCloud, what's the default? Is it CC BY, CC, NC, or all rights reserved? Okay, all rights reserved still okay. If anybody steals your song off SoundCloud and then does something with it, you in theory have a right to sue them, but you don't have the money. Okay, yeah, default is all rights reserved, which is fine. So people cannot take your song off SoundCloud, but the reality is they're probably not going to sue them. unless they hit the number one hit. Then you take a gamble. So you know you're gambling? They're gambling that they got a number one hit. The label will pay you off before it reaches court. Because say again. Louder. I remember vaguely that somebody took songs by Fat Rat and uploaded it, and say claiming that it was their own, right?
Yeah.
Your big problem with people who are not people who are random people who do this and are overseas, right? You can't even sue them because you don't know who they are. So they don't care. You know, if your music appears on any website, .ru, forget it. Russia is well known that basically cyber criminals are able to operate in Russia as long as they don't touch Russian targets. This is a very standard policy in Russia for cybercrime. So if you know, basically that's in Russia, their servers are called bulletproof servers because you cannot be shot down one. Not physically bulletproof, but legally bulletproof. Did I get to your question? Yeah, okay. Have I missed out anybody else's question?
I said you license the song in public domain. Can you then go back and change it so you can sell it?
Very hard. Very hard. I wouldn't try. Yeah. Yeah. Once the song is in the public domain, how are you going to prove that they took your copyright version instead of taking a public domain version? It's going to be difficult because the song has been out there. They're going to say, no, I took the public domain version. All cool? Question good? Anything else? Anybody's interested in? Yeah. Non-copyright means that you can play it in your stream. You can download it and play in your stream without having to pay them each time you use it. It probably means that if it appears on your video, there will be no content recognition on it. Because content recognition is set by the label. The label will send the song to the content recognition. You know a funny thing about content recognition? When I upload Cosmic Armchair songs, I get copyright notification. I'm notified that my label has claimed the copyright. Do I agree? Yes, I agree. Because why? Because then they put an ad, then the money goes to my label, then my label will pay me. Yeah, it's reaching around my head to scratch my nose, but at least I reach my nose. Yeah, that's fine. So if the copyright free people, if they don't send the music to content recognition, then it will just pass through. No. They put it on Spotify because they want to let you hear it stream. Spotify pays them every time the song is played. That's a different thing from the royalties. Spotify plays them before the song is being streamed. Now, the one thing I would say, be careful about people who say public domain or copyright free or whatever. If they are the kind of people that control their own set of songs, then and they curate it, then you're quite safe. But there are some sites where are user generated, right? Where people submit all kinds of things. You do not know whether that song is actually copyright free or not. Or a graphic. You use the graphic. If it's on one of those crowdsourced websites, you don't know for sure whether that graphic is copyright free or not. So you just be careful. Maybe you reverse Google search and see whether anybody else has made a thing. Now, music-wise, related to Clint's question, there's a very funny thing that's happening in the world of content recognition now. One of the days that I was doing the lesson, right, and I was using one of those free sample packs from Semantics. Then, when I uploaded the video on the YouTube, I got flagged. Hey, you have a copyright. What copyright? I was using sample packs. Sample packs are not copyright. What? It turns out somebody released a song which he only used the songs from the sample pack, right? Without even changing them. And that's his song, right? And his song is by such and such. It get released, right? And because he released it with a label, the label has sent it into content recognition. So now, when I play the raw sample pack sound, right, layering the bass line and the beat and one melody line, he has copyright to that. Legally speaking, it's not wrong because he took the effort to put those three things together and make them into a song, right? Of course, creatively, we think we all, judge him. You're judging him at the moment, right? You didn't even change the pitch. You didn't even change the tempo. It's like the same thing, right? But it's not wrong. It's legal. And anyway, the lesson video is still up there. I will do a screenshot and share later. It's like, what? And also because some genres are so generic, that I just say that. Yeah, I was in a supermarket that day, right? I happened to be near my mother's place and I went to Cold Storage in River City. And they got a very nice like deep house. I don't know why you bring deep house in Cold Storage. I think it's a Cold Storage, one of those finest ones. So I go, I say, hey, show me some. Oh, interesting. Like this. It's something in me. It's like, let me try again. Same song, right? So then, different artists, different song. Then, cannot be. Third time. So them again. Third artist, third song. Why? Because they all sound the same. They all go the same. So if your music is too generic, you will also trigger somebody's copyright. Okay? So please don't be generic. Be yourself. Yeah. Also a lesson, sample packs are fun, but don't just release a song of sample pack song. Right? Because if you are not the first one to do it, if you are the first one to do it, then you win. If you are the second one to do it, somebody else wants to copyright it.
Get your music. I know this thing about to have them put it onto the content algorithm. And that was like 8 or 8 years extra on top of the fees that you. So is that true? Like,
depends on your distributor, what the deal is. Yeah. Like I was saying, like some distributors will take care of this one as well. Not all do. But
yeah, the only fact I have that it's like something I hate, but like my protagonist is the next program. That one, but that one, but then my own music, it doesn't, even if I upload, it doesn't trigger because it's not because I didn't think about it.
That's fine. Yeah, but because my music is with my label, and my label does it that way. My label, when they send to Orchard, they're using Orchard. When they send to Orchard, they do put into content recognition. And it's not just because of me, it's because they also represent some rather huge goth artists, right? Whose music will be then taken and used as a soundtrack for somebody's like Halloween horror thing, right? Which is a common use for some montage of chainsaw murders kind of thing. Yeah. So it's a lovely neighborhood I have here. All good. Okay, great. I'm gonna take a water break because I've been talking. How long? What time is it already?